Was the Ethereum merge a mistake? When asked about Ethereum's merge, William or Wills DeVogelier, co-founder of Spank Chain and possibly a half dozen additional protocols in the mysterious Ethereum underworld, referred to it as Ethereum's delusion. Welcome to Crypto Inquiry, where we are dedicated to providing you, the investor, and the crypto curious with factual information and topics. Our goal is to keep you informed to make educated and timely decisions and remove the fog of hidden information. Nothing is meant as financial advice, and always do your own research before investing. Here we are building a community to help each other stay informed and make the most of our financial gains. On September 15th, the long-awaited software upgrade ejected Ethereum's miners and replaced them with a group of stakeholders who were more concerned about the environment. DeVogelier, it turned out, was expressing a view that was rarely made public, that the merger was a mistake or a pointless diversion of some kind. He said that aside from the environmental consideration, it didn't provide anything of value. DeVogelier believed that the entire endeavor had been a naive submission. He claimed that those in positions of power who were concerned about Ethereum's massive carbon footprint were only doing so to further their cynical agendas. He claimed that as long as something functions, nobody cares whether it is green. As long as they can be regarded as caring, businesses don't care. It is easy to understand why folks like DeVogelier are upset, considering how badly Ethereum's price has fallen since the integration took place. Supporters of Bitcoin are mocking the modification. Even the most seasoned Ethereum experts have become alarmed by whispers that Ethereum is now a security. Some have even been moved to welcome a group of fervent Ethereum militants who were once shunned. The idea that Ethereum's reputation will increase after the merge, as DeVogelier stated, may have turned out to be a hoax. Since this one environmental complaint has been resolved, the authorities won't likely modify their stance, he claimed, especially given their newly discovered readiness to label the system as a security. Yes, the merging was an excellent demonstration of technical skills. DeVogelier feels that the alleged technical advancements of the merge are overrated, despite everything. It was intended to make it easier to implement different modifications that would increase network efficiency. DeVogelier, however, asserts that similar solutions have long existed in the shape of sidechains, additions to the main network that employ various forms of validation, like Polygon. He asserted that the switch to the staking mechanism had no appreciable impact on the virtual machine, the only component of Ethereum that has actual value. He also made note of the fact that people who lack the necessary funds to independently invest must do it through centralized exchanges like Coinbase. The bulk of Ethereum would thereafter be traded on a corporate exchange with just a single point of failure. Is DeVogelier's view perhaps a minority one? Not so longtime Ethereum miner Christy Lee Minahan isn't quite as hostile to the merge as DeVogelier insisted. She questions whether it happened a little too soon. The move to proof of stake is a key part of Ethereum's DNA and was always intended, she said. It was necessary and required for future optimizations and scalability features. The question everyone needs to ask themselves is, was now the right time? At least some pedigreed Ethereum advocates remain sanguine. It could be the case that this has some impact on regulatory decision-making, ventured Matt Dryhurst, a left-leaning podcaster and one of the earliest adopters of NFTs. But to be honest, I don't get much of an impression that this is too much of a concern on the dev side. People are excited to build more utility for the network, and the merge felt like a celebration of another milestone on a long roadmap. There is maybe a solitary group that wholeheartedly agrees with DeVogelier and his ilk's pessimistic assessment of the merge and is openly delighted about them. They are the guardians of the Ethereum Classic, an older, abandoned version of the Ethereum network whose proponents are arguably the most OG in the brief but dramatic history of Ethereum politics. They would contend that Ethereum Classic was betrayed by the greedy handlers of Ethereum proper, just like the miners were. Following a malicious attack on the DAO, the first decentralized autonomous organization on the Ethereum network, Ethereum Classic was created in 2016. The majority of mainstream Ethereum developers opted to roll back the attack and compensate victims, which some purists saw as a grave violation of the immutability principle that is at the foundation of Ethereum. Because they adhered to the outdated compromised network, Ethereum was split in half. Since then, they have been anticipating the merge in the hope that the recently laid off miners, whom they aggressively attempted to court, would migrate to Ethereum Classic in search of fresh sources of income. Amazingly, they were correct after 6 years of patient expectation. We've seen significantly increased interest in Ethereum Classic in the last couple of months, said Bob Somerville, the executive director of the ETC Cooperative, the foundation behind the development of Ethereum Classic, whose ticket is ETC. The merge was obviously a catalyst. He added that the amount of mining power on the network has since increased around tenfold, and that Ethereum Classic is now the third largest proof-of-work chain by market cap and second by volume. Like others, Somerville made the observation that many of these miners may have become motivated and drawn to ETC due to worries about the American takeover of the network and increasingly aggressive regulators. Ethereum Classic seems to be benefiting from providing a known and likely safer alternative on these concerns, he said. It has nevertheless been a bumpy start. Ethereum Classic, as with many others, took a recent dip, and its miners are operating at a loss. We are still trying to find a new equilibrium, Somerville said. Members of Congress and Supreme Court could be barred from crypto investments. If a law receives enough support, members of the U.S. House of Representatives, Senate, and Supreme Court who already trade cryptocurrencies may have to give up their crypto assets. Following a framework, Chair of the Committee in House Administration Zoe Lofgren claimed to have a meaningful and effective plan to combat financial conflicts of interest in the U.S. Congress by limiting the financial activities of lawmakers, Supreme Court justices, as well as their spouses and kids. The Stop Trading on Congressional Knowledge Act, or STOCK Act, which was passed in 2012 and allows members of Congress to buy, sell, and trade stocks and other investments while in the office, while also requiring them to disclose such transactions, would be repealed if the bill were to be passed as written. Hundreds of crypto projects gearing up for launch after Cardano blockchain upgrade. According to Charles Hoskinson, numerous projects are set to debut on the Cardano ADA network following the Vasil hard fork update. Hundreds more projects are stating that they will progress utilizing the new ADA capabilities when they become accessible to developers next week, according to Hoskinson, the co-creator of Cardano. I've seen hundreds of tweets like this one. Lots of projects are excited to deploy now. He makes mention of the initiative from the decentralized streaming music firm Noom, which is building a platform to let musicians share their songs with listeners and get paid using NFTs. According to Noom, the Vasil update will increase operational effectiveness. Hoskinson criticizes a news story that said the update happened after a 3-month delay in another tweet while praising the upgrade's accomplishment. XRP whales keep accumulating despite rising prices. Even as the price of the cryptocurrency continues to rise in anticipation of future decision in the SEC's complaint against Ripple and 2 of its executives, whales on the XRP network have been stockpiling the cryptocurrency. According to blockchain analytics company Santiment, the anticipation of a likely decision in the case has caused the price ratio of XRP to the leading cryptocurrency Bitcoin to reach a 1-year high of 0.000025. However, active shark and whale addresses have maintained a continuing accumulation trend since late 2020. Accumulating between 1 million and 10 million XRP. Data includes that the price of XRP has increased by about 47% over the past 30 days as both Ripple and the SEC, or Securities Exchange Commission, are seeking a ruling in their long-running legal dispute through a so-called summary judgment as per recently filed paperwork. The ongoing accumulation trend has probably benefited XRP sharks and whales. Shiba Inu, how SHIB Eternity can help change SHIB's fate. One of the most well-known meme currencies in the world, Shiba Inu, has not made any encouraging price changes recently, with a negative 6% rise over the past 7 days. SHIB, though, can help tip the scales in its favor given the ecosystem's numerous advances. For instance, SHIB Eternity's SHIB Download Day was just revealed to occur on October 1st, 2022. The card-based game SHIB Eternity is expected to be released by Shiba creators within the current year, as they said last year. A new Metaverse platform for creators in the works. A unique Metaverse platform is being developed that will allow all content producers to create and exchange digital artworks in a decentralized economy. To make sure that content producers and consumers may communicate in a genuinely decentralized and enjoyable environment, Meta Studio and Polygon Studios signed a strategic collaboration agreement. With their most recent partnership, the two service companies will make sure that the creator economy reaps the rewards of the numerous opportunities in the metaverse. After the project is finished, content producers will be able to monetize their work independently of big tech, which now controls the majority of income. Well, that's a wrap on this video. So do you think that the Ethereum merge was a mistake? Be sure to let us know in the comments below. Bye.